Welcome to another physics class on chapter Light. Today we are going to discuss about spherical mirrors. These are the mirrors whose reflecting surface forms a part of the surface of a sphere. That is, these mirrors are cut out from a sphere, hence the name spherical mirrors. Spherical mirrors are of two types. The first type is a concave mirror. In such a mirror, the reflecting surface is curved inward. As you can see in this diagram, this is the reflecting surface of the mirror, which is curved inward, so it is called a concave mirror. And the opposite side, that is this surface, is the non-reflecting side or the opaque side. Students, please note that here we are drawing the cross-sectional view of the mirror. Throughout this chapter, we will be drawing the cross-sectional views of all kinds of mirrors. The second kind is a convex mirror. In such a mirror, the reflecting surface is curved outward. As in the diagram, this is the reflecting surface which is curved outward. And the opposite side, this is the non-reflecting surface. If you look at the spoon, then the inner side of a spoon acts like a concave mirror since it is a kind of a mirror whose reflecting surface is curved inward, and the outer surface forms a convex mirror since it has a reflecting surface which is bulged outward. Now let us discuss some terms related to spherical mirrors. Here in the diagram I have drawn both the kinds of mirrors indicating the terms that we are going to learn now. First of all, note that this is the sphere from which the concave mirror is formed, and this is the sphere from which our convex mirror is formed. The first term that we are going to discuss is the pole of the mirror. It is the center of the spherical mirror, the center of the reflecting surface of the spherical mirror. That is this. This is the pole of a concave mirror, and this is the pole of the convex mirror. Next is the center of curvature. The spherical mirror forms a part of the sphere, and this sphere has a center. This center is called the center of curvature of the spherical mirror. Here, see, this is the center of curvature of the concave mirror, and this is the center of curvature of the convex mirror. It is represented by capital C. Next is radius of curvature. It is the radius of the sphere of which your spherical mirror forms a part. That is, this is the radius of curvature of concave mirror, that is the distance between the center of curvature and the pole, and this is the radius of curvature of the convex mirror, that is the distance from the center of curvature to the pole. It is represented by capital R. Next is principal axis. It is an imaginary line that passes through the pole and center of curvature. In this diagram, the line xx dash forms the principal axis of the concave mirror, and here also xx dash forms the principal axis of the convex mirror. Please note that the principal axis is normal to the mirror at its pole. Why so? This comes from our knowledge of mathematics. We know that any straight line passing through the center of a sphere and falling on the surface of a sphere forms a normal. So here, principal axis is a line that is passing through the center of the sphere and falling on the surface of the sphere at point P. So this forms a normal to the mirror at its pole. Next is aperture. It is the diameter of the reflecting surface of the spherical mirror. As you can see here, this mm dash is the diameter or the aperture of the concave mirror, and this mm dash is the diameter or the aperture of the convex mirror. Please know that in this chapter, we shall consider only such spherical mirrors whose aperture is much smaller than its radius of curvature. That is, we will consider the mirrors having small apertures. Next, let us discuss the principal focus and focal length of a concave mirror. Note that the principal focus is represented by capital F and the focal length is represented by small f. As you can see in this diagram, you are given a concave mirror. These are the rays parallel to the principal axis which fall on the mirror. After reflection from the mirror, these rays converge at a point and this point is called principal focus. This point lies on the principal axis of the mirror. So, when rays of light parallel to the principal axis fall on a concave mirror, then after reflection, they converge at a point on the principal axis. This point is called principal focus of the concave mirror. And the distance between principal focus and the pole is called the focal length of the mirror. Here I have marked the focal length, that is the distance between F and P. Students, note that since a concave mirror converges the parallel rays of light falling on it, so it is also called a convergent mirror. Next is the principal focus and focal length of a convex mirror. Here in this diagram you are shown parallel rays of light, the rays of light parallel to the principal axis falling on a convex mirror, and after reflection these rays of light diverge, and they diverge such that they appear to diverge from a point on the principal axis, which is called the principal focus of a convex mirror. So by definition, the rays of light parallel to the principal axis after reflection from a convex mirror appear to diverge from a point on the principal axis, and this point is called the principal focus of the convex mirror. And the distance between the pole and principal focus is called the focal length of the convex mirror. Note here that since a convex mirror diverges the parallel rays of light falling on it, so it is also called a divergent mirror. Next is the relation between focal length and radius of curvature. Note that for spherical mirrors of small apertures that we are going to discuss in this chapter, the focal length is half the radius of curvature. That is, f is equal to r by 2 or r is equal to 2f. We will be using this concept while we will be solving the numericals. Next topic is the rules for drawing images formed by concave mirrors. Students, note that when an object is placed in front of a mirror, then infinite number of rays originate from every point on that object. And in order to locate the image of any point of that object, it is convenient to consider only two rays emanating from that point. And we will select these two rays depending on the rules that we are going to learn now. The first rule says that a ray parallel to the principal axis after reflection from a concave mirror passes through the principal focus of the mirror. Here in the diagram you can see that this is the ray parallel to the principal axis which is falling on the mirror, and after reflection this ray goes through the principal focus of the mirror. Note here that the dotted line represents the normal to the mirror at the point of incidence, and the laws of reflection are also valid here, that is the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. So a ray parallel to the principal axis falling on the mirror after reflection passes through the principal focus. The second rule is just the opposite of the first. It says that when a ray passes through the principal focus of a concave mirror, then after reflection it becomes parallel to the principal axis. Here this is the ray which is incident on the mirror and it is passing through the principal focus. After reflection, this ray becomes parallel to the principal axis. Again here the dotted line represents the normal to the mirror at the point of incidence, and the laws of reflection, that is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, is also valid here. The third rule is that a ray of light passes through the center of curvature and incident on the mirror is reflected back along the same path. This is shown in this diagram. This happens because the light rays passing through the center of curvature are incident on the mirror such that they act as the normal to the mirror. And we already know that any ray falling on the mirror normally retraces its path. That is, in this case, angle I is equal to angle R is equal to 0. The fourth rule is that a ray of light incident obliquely to the principal axis at the pole is reflected back obliquely following the laws of reflection. That is, in this case also at point P, angle I is equal to angle R. So these are the some rules to draw images formed by concave mirrors. In next class, we will learn how we draw images using a concave mirror with the help of these rules. That's all for this class. Thank you.